getting results. You're watching News 6 at 5 a.m.
Breaking right now, a man shot and killed. The victim found lying in the middle of the street in a local neighborhood. We're live as police work to get results and find out what happened. Plus,
92 years old, you know, done lived that long, and then she got to go out like that. That's not good news.
a community in shock after deputies confirmed the worst. Their elderly neighbor was murdered, but this morning the mystery is only growing about what happened to the victim.
And breaking overnight, another marathon session for the Senate, the latest member of the president's cabinet to be confirmed, despite some strong objections by Democrats. Good Friday morning to you. I'm Justin Mormon.
I'm Bridget Ellison. Thanks for waking up with us. And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. We do want to start this hour with the weather. You're going to feel a bit of a change as you walk out the door. Meteorologist Troy Bridges is here. Troy, you got to have the jacket.
Oh, yeah.
But we're almost to the weekend.
Yeah, we are. It's Friday. We're going to say hashtag Burr with 3 R's.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah,
Should we
I'd
add
say
another
so.
R?
No, it's not too.
All right, we'll do it.
It is a little windy, though.
It was.
Yeah.
It's going to calm down that wind a little bit later today. So, yes, hashtag Burr with 3 R's. We are going to be dealing with some of those pollen counts in the high category through the weekend with no rain in store. So watch out for that. Juniper, oak, and grass all high. What about those temperatures starting off in the 40s and 50s? We're at 48 degrees right now in Ocala, 52 in Sanford, 51 Orlando, right now 59 at Cape Canaveral, 60 at Cocoa Beach, but 47 at Daytona Beach. So a little range in temperatures, but most inland spots cool enough for a jacket, and our northern coast cool enough for a jacket. Lots of sun to enjoy today, 68 degrees by noon, getting up to 72 at 4. Coming up, we'll talk about whether you can expect any rain for the weekend. There's a big warm-up in store. But first, let's check on the roads and head on over to Amy Biondello in the Napleton Traffic Center. Good morning, Amy, on a Friday.
On a Friday, we know that warm-up is always just around the corner around Florida. Roads at this point of the morning, we're doing very, very well. And again, you can look outside here, 417, moving along nice and smooth, and that is indeed how most of our majors look as you make your way out the door. If you're traveling early, always a good idea to do so because you won't have any issues out there. You can see right now over on I-4, we are moving along nice, clear, and quiet. Map data also showing nice open conditions. That's the latest. Send it back to you at the desk.
Breaking news alert.
A deadly shooting under investigation right now in New Smyrna Beach. The victim found lying in the middle of West Washington Street, right near US 1. Mark Lehman is the only reporter live at the scene right now. And Mark, you just got an update from the police chief.
Yeah, Justin, I talked to him within the last 10 minutes, and he tells me that a potential suspect is in custody, and investigators are speaking with him right now. But he also says police are still very busy out here gathering evidence and talking with witnesses after a man was gunned down right here in the middle of this street, right in the historic district of New Smyrna Beach. Take a look at some video from earlier this morning. Witnesses say there were a group of people around here around 1 this morning, but mainly it was 2 men who were arguing. Investigators say at some point one of the men pulled out a gun and fired off several rounds, striking the victim. He's been identified as 26-year-old James Jackson. The victim was rushed to the hospital after paramedics arrived on scene, but we're told Jackson died from his injuries a short time later. Since then, police have been gathering information, and they say there now is a suspect in custody, but at this point, they're not identifying that man. As we come back out here live this morning, police also say they're waiting now on crime scene investigators to come out here and finish gathering the evidence here on scene, but they're also waiting on a warrant to be served here to search one of the homes here because they're still looking for the weapon that was involved in this shooting. Of course, we're going to stay out here, continue to gather information. We'll be talking with police and also neighbors here to see if they were able to see or hear anything when this shooting happened very early this morning. Of course, we'll keep you updated with any new information we learn here on News 6. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mark. It's 5:03. Now to the mystery surrounding the death of this elderly woman. Deputies now confirm she was murdered. Her body found in a shallow grave in Leesburg. But this morning, we still don't know what happened to her. And as News 6's Jennifer Ortega shows us, now deputies are turning to neighbors to try and get results.
Detectives have been putting up signs like these all over the area, hoping someone will call with information. We spoke to James' neighbor that says he's known her for 50 years, and he doesn't know why anyone would want to hurt her.
She was a nice person. I want to say I haven't had that many neighbors, but she was one of the better ones we had best.
Robert McCall says he's lived right behind 92-year-old Ruby James for more than 5 decades.
Her son and my son grew up together right here in this neighborhood.
He says he would always see her outside on his way to work.
I'd be going to work, she would be out in the yard, and she had got down, you know, to where she was sitting in a chair. and, working on flower beds.
Detectives say James vanished earlier this week. She was found dead last night in a shallow grave 5 miles from her home. Her white Hyundai found abandoned with a shattered window not far from her resting place.
The way it happened, 92 years old, done lived that long, and then she got to go out like that. That's not good news. Just like it was her, it could have been, me or my wife or whatnot. Or even a young lady across the street.
We were there as detectives put up crime line signs, hoping it will help with the investigation. Neighbors already laying down flowers where James' body was found in the woods.
Should have left a legacy that in the community, because she's been here as long as I can remember.
Detectives are calling this case suspicious and have not released new details. If you have any information that can help, call Crime Line. In Leesburg, Jennifer Ortega, News 6.
Breaking news overnight. It took until 2 this morning, but the Senate has confirmed Georgia Representative Tom Price to be the next Secretary of Health and Human Services. The party line vote came after another night of contentious debate. Democrats strongly opposed the Trump nominee, who has been a longtime advocate of dismantling the Affordable Care Act. Price has also supported ending federal funding to Planned Parenthood. Meanwhile, it was a big defeat last night for the president when it comes to his temporary ban on immigration from some countries. We'll have details on that part of the story and what the president is vowing to do next coming up at the bottom of the hour.
This morning, News 6 has uncovered startling new details in a case of suspected animal neglect. One of the women accused has apparently done this before. News 6 was there in 2005 when Linda Mae Castillo was arrested for animal neglect. Deltona Animal Control said they found nearly 70 cats and dogs living in filthy cages, and many of them had to be put down.
Long-haired cats, you can't tell they're long-haired. They have so much urine caked on them that they're soaked down, and their fur is just matted to their body.
Now, last week, News 6 showed you these 9 dogs that Animal Control seized from Castillo's home in Deltona, all found in the same condition. Castillo and her roommate, Samantha Hamilton, are both charged with neglect. Now, they are fighting to get their dogs back. They will be in court at the end of the month to ask a judge, and News 6 will be there.
In Orlando, a man is waking up behind bars this morning after police say he was threatened an officer with a gun just feet away from children. Luis Anthony Rios made his first appearance before a judge yesterday following his arrest early Thursday morning. Police say they were responding to a domestic violence incident between Rios and his girlfriend when he threatened an officer with a loaded .22 caliber rifle. And this isn't Rios' first brush with the law. He was previously serving time in federal prison for carjacking and aggravated murder charges in Illinois. He's currently being held on more than $9,000 bond. An Orlando police officer who was run down while on the job now says he'll never be able to return to the force. William Anderson was badly hurt when a car ran him over during a traffic stop in July of 2015. And since then, he has undergone several surgeries and spent time at hospitals and rehab centers. But Officer Anderson says his injuries have forced him to retire.
I would go back in a heartbeat if I could, but unfortunately, all my doctors say I can't and won't ever be able to.
Yesterday, the city's police pension board decided to give Officer Anderson 80% of his salary and full pension benefits. He served as an OPD officer for 9 years.
Classes are going on at Oviedo High School today. Despite what you may have read online, someone made a bogus Twitter account yesterday posing as the district's account and saying classes would be canceled at Oviedo today because of worries over violence, but none of it is true. The district says law enforcement is now investigating and they're trying to get that fake account shut down.
More big changes this weekend for thousands of drivers, all because of the big drive. And Amy, this is going to mean the shutdown of one busy road all weekend.
Oh, yeah, Bridget. Now, this is all happening along Maitland Boulevard, where we've seen, as we know, a whole lot of changes over the past couple months. Now, Maitland Boulevard itself is not closing, but let me show you what is. It's going to be Keller Road, just west of the highway. Now, you won't be able to go north or south on Keller, that is, while they reconfigure the whole intersection. Let me show you how to get results and get around this. If you need to go north, head to Maitland Summit Boulevard. That will connect you back with Keller. And headed south, you can use South Hall Lane to do the same thing. Both Both will take you just a little bit extra time, so make sure to be on the lookout for those detour signs. Now, this work is expected to start at about 8 tonight, and it's going to be not going to reopen until about 6 o'clock on Monday morning. So, of course, we will most definitely keep you posted. And remember, anytime that you need updates on construction, we have a special section on our website, clickorlando.com/thebigdrive. Kirsten?
Amy, thanks so much. Well, after nearly a decade, one of the most recognized structures on I-4 is coming down. We are talking about the Airstream Ranch display. You know this one features a line of Airstream trailers jutting vertically from the ground when you're going out to Tampa. Frank Bates built the display back in 2007 near his RV dealership in Hillsborough County, eventually turning into somewhat of an I-4 tourist stop for people driving across the state. But it wasn't always that popular. The Tampa Bay Times reports the county tried to get rid of it for code reasons. Bates eventually sold the dealership a few years later, and now it's unclear what, if anything, is going to replace the RV display.
It is bizarre to see that stuff.
Cool, I kind of like it.
Turning back to the weather, we have a cool start to our Friday, but Troy, warmer weather is on the way for today.
Oh yeah, you pointed out earlier, Justin, it's windy. It is a little windy this morning. We're going to see those winds calm down. We're going to warm nicely into the 70s, and then we head back up near 80 through the weekend. You can see these winds coming in out of the north, bringing in that dry, stable air. That's why we'll see a lot of sunshine today, sustained at between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some areas seeing some winds near 20 miles per hour this morning. That will make it feel a little cooler at times. Orlando right now at 51. It's 48 in Ocala, Leesburg at 48. So grab the jacket, but look at the sky into the future. A lot of sunshine, a few clouds here and there. We get up to 72. By 4 o'clock, the average high, 73. So 1 degree below where we're supposed to be after being in the 80s for so long. Yesterday was 83. Let's check on the roads now and head on over to Amy Biondello in the Napleton Traffic Center. It's early on a Friday. Hopefully no trouble spots.
No trouble spots. It doesn't look like too badly. I was looking into some reports of an accident working over on the turnpike right around 60 in the southbound lanes. I didn't see anything on the map data, so we'll continue to keep an eye out for that. But it looks like right now everything is fairly tame. Construction from the overnight has cleared out of the way, and things are going to be kicking into effect tonight. We're just telling you about, not a factor right now. You can see your drive times out on the turnpike. Those do look very, very nice, so no big issues there. Live check outside here at the beach line, handful of cars, and everybody is behaving. That is the latest. Back to you, Bridget.
Amy, thanks. 511 now still ahead, nearly a dozen drivers ticketed outside a local school.
Yeah, what they were doing that troopers say put lives at risk.
Plus, a local dad sentenced in his infant daughter's death, why he won't be spending any time behind bars.
And pushback over a new show centered around the Pulse nightclub attack. Why one producer says the project is being misunderstood. Next.
Live, getting results. You're watching News 6 at 6 a.m.
Breaking overnight, a man is shot at a woman beaten during a home invasion. The manhunt now underway for the group responsible. Plus, the man accused of opening fire in the middle of the Fort Lauderdale airport is set to appear before a judge. The terrifying new video from inside the airport coming up. Plus, grab your jackets. We're off to a chilly start once again across parts of Central Florida, waking up to near freezing temperatures this morning. Good morning at 6 a.m. on your Monday. I'm Bridget Allison. Thanks for joining us. Justin and Kirsten are off today. All the day's headlines in just seconds, but we start this hour with a cold blast from the weekend that's carrying into your work week. Meteorologist Troy Bridges is pinpointing this cold snap for Central Florida. Parts of us still under a freeze watch.
Yeah, now some folks may say it's not all that chilly, but I think most people now will say this is cold.
Yeah.
Let's grab a jacket, some boots this morning. Now, it won't last all day. We will warm into the 60s a little bit later on, but here are the actual temperatures. Right now, it's 36 in Ocala, 37 in the Villages, 37 in Daytona Beach, 42 in Orlando, but milder in Brevard County. It's 44 in Melbourne, 59 in Cocoa Beach, because there's a little bit of a breeze off the ocean waters, if you can believe it. Those temperatures along the ocean a lot warmer. Now, inland, it will feel colder because of that breeze out of the north in many spots. So it feels more like 37 in Orlando and in Sanford, feels like 33 in Daytona Beach, 37 in the Villages, feels like 30 in Leesburg, and 31 in Ocala. And that will linger, that feel-like temperature, a few degrees below where we are, at least for the next few hours. And then we get into the 60s and warm a little bit, up to 61 at noon, 64 at 4. 1 or 2 coastal showers can't be ruled out this afternoon, but a big warm up back near 80 on the way. We'll talk about when to expect that. First, though, let's check on the roads with Amy Biondello in the Napleton Traffic Center. Good morning, Amy.
Troy, good morning. Now, I'm continuing to watch this crash for you. Really not causing any big issues out there. Over on I-4, eastbound side of the roadway out by 434, mainly over on the shoulder. Still wanted to bring it to your attention. We don't have a ton going on this morning. You can see here it is not causing any delays on our map data this morning, and your drive times really anywhere. All of the majors looking very, very nice, so we're off to a good start. Bridget.
Breaking news overnight.
Breaking overnight, a man is shot and a woman attacked during an Orlando home invasion. This morning, police are looking for the people responsible. The shooting happened at Heritage on Millennia Apartments on Millennia Boulevard, not far from the mall at Millennia. News 6 reporter Johnny Fernandez is live at that scene. And how do we know, are the victims doing, Johnny?
Bridget, good morning. Well, right now, police have not released any information on the victim's condition. The only thing we know is that one woman was beaten and another man shot after this violent home invasion. Now, I want to get over to some video and show you guys at home what this scene looked like when we first got here on scene. Now, police headed to the Heritage Apartments just after 1 o'clock this morning, but so far, investigators have not said whether they believe the victims were targeted or random. Only saying as of right now that there are only 2 victims and the suspects drove off in a car. They fled from police on foot. And this morning, still a lot of questions remain, such as who are those suspects, police? They are asking for the public's help. If you have any information about that, you are urged to contact Orlando Police. And right now, like I said, the victim's condition, the man that was shot, we only know that he was taken to the hospital. No word on his condition this morning. Of course, once we get any new information, we'll bring it to you guys here on the Morning News. Bridget, back over to you.
Thanks, Johnny. Also breaking overnight, one person has died after the car they were driving in crashed into an Orange County lake. Troopers tell News 6 the car ended up in Little Lake Conway, but so far have not said what may have led to the crash. The driver of the car has also not been identified. If we learn new information about this story, we'll be sure to let you know. In just hours, the man accused of shooting and killing 5 people in the middle of the Fort Lauderdale airport is expected to make his first appearance before a judge. It's all as we learn more about the background of accused shooter Esteban Santiago. Santiago is facing federal charges this morning, which can carry the death penalty. News 6's Mark Lehman joins us live in studio this morning. And Mark, we're now seeing a very tough to watch video from the moments this started.
Yes, Bridget, the images are difficult to watch, but they also give us insight into exactly what happened in the seconds before Santiago opened fire. Someone who we're learning had a run-in with the FBI less than 2 months ago. Now, word of caution, the video you're about to see may be considered too graphic for some. In the chilling video first obtained by TMZ, you can see 26-year-old Esteban Santiago casually walk in from the left side of the screen. Suddenly, he reaches into his waistband, pulls out a gun, and starts shooting. As one man who appears to have been shot staggers into frame, several others drop to the floor, seeking cover from the gunfire.
A man climbed on top of my body, and as he did so, he said, "I will protect you." According to a law enforcement source, the 9mm handgun Santiago used to kill 5 and wound 6 others was the same gun he had when he went to an FBI office in Anchorage, Alaska in November. The Iraq war veteran complained to agents that his mind was being controlled by U.S. intelligence and he was being forced to watch ISIS terror videos.
There is a federal law with regard to having a gun by somebody who is mentally ill, but the law requires that the person be, quote, adjudicated mentally ill. Which is a difficult standard. Santiago allegedly confessed to planning the airport attack, but it's unknown why Fort Lauderdale was his target. Portions of the baggage claim area where the shooting happened have been reopened, while curtains shield travelers from seeing the crime scene. Again, Santiago faces the death penalty if convicted. He'll be facing a judge for the first time later this morning. Now, we're also hearing from his family for the first time since this shooting. I'll have more on that in my next report at 6:30. Bridget.
All right, thank you, Mark. Closer to home, 4 teens as young as 16 are now facing charges after a chase and manhunt. Lake County deputies say the teens are behind at least one of the recent smash and grab robberies at local Target stores. News 6 reporter Sashel Saunders is live at the Lake County Jail this morning, where the only 18-year-old in the group is set to go before a judge. Sashel, what can you tell us?
Well, detectives definitely think this is bigger than a simple Target robbery. As you kind of mentioned, this could possibly be part of a ring. That's something they're still trying to figure out. Meanwhile, that 18-year-old is here in the county jail, and those teenagers are in juvenile detention.
You know, the thing is, don't come to Lake County and commit crimes.
Officers say these four busted into a Lady Lake Target after hours, trying to grab as much as they could. Meanwhile, security guards watched it all on camera, calling police.
They waited for them. They came out of the store, they jumped in the car, and that's when they tried to initiate the stop, and they kept going.
Officers threw out stop sticks near this intersection, hoping to catch the thieves. Not enough. The 16-year-old driver and a 17-year-old passenger jumped out of the car and ran. They wouldn't get far and were found in a dumpster by K-9 officers.
It's scary when you're making that kind of traffic stop, because there are people who say, I'm not going to jail under any circumstances, and then they would try to take the officer's life.
Not only was the car stolen, so was everything inside: PlayStations, jewelry, a TV, and ammunition. Detectives say the teens could be connected to a string of Target burglaries like these in Tampa and another in Lake Mary 2 days after Christmas.
Detectives think that this might be, an organization that's working together like that. So if we can disrupt that and get to the bottom line, that's when it's really going to count.
Now, two of those teens already have a criminal record for, get this, burglary as well. Detectives, though, are looking into the surveillance video at all of those robberies to see if they could pinpoint any of those teens and connect any of these robberies. But for now, reporting live in Lake County, Sashel Saunders, News 6.
Sashel, thanks. An investigation is underway in Winter Garden this morning after some scary moments forced fire officials to evacuate at least 3 homes after a hole formed in the middle of someone's living room. It's a story we first brought you as breaking news Saturday night at 11. The investigation is centered around Tiverton Boulevard. You can see yellow caution tape and barricades surrounding the white home, where officials say the hole formed right in the living room. The 2 neighboring homes were also evacuated because firefighters spotted cracks running up the sides of those homes.
The house that we're renting had a crack along the side, so just to err on the safe side of things, they suggested that we spend the night elsewhere if we could. So just, taking precautionary measures, and that's what we decided to do.
And engineers are working to figure out exactly what risk the hole may pose. In just hours, Governor Rick Scott will make another stop in Central Florida, this time talking about jobs. Scott is set to announce new jobs coming to auditing firm KPMG in Orlando. This morning's announcement is set for 10 a.m. at the Lake Nona Town Center. Tens of thousands of people braved chilly temperatures wearing nothing but shorts and T-shirts, all to take part in the Disney Marathon. Disney gave us this video of the marathon. They estimate more than 23,000 runners participated. And again, it was won by a local. Fredison Costa lives and trains in Orlando. He's originally from Brazil, and it marks his 4th straight Disney Marathon win.
Foi uma corrida de superação, tive que superar.
It was very cold, it was very windy, it was a superation race. They have to overcome all those obstacles.
Yes, and Costa says the cold weather really affected him at the beginning of the marathon, but he was able to power through. And that's exactly what you might need to do today as that colder air sticks around, but it won't be here for long, so we just need to power through, right, Troy?
I like that, power through. Today's going to be fairly chilly into the afternoon, but warmer tomorrow. Look at this great photo from our storm pins. This is from Marley Rogers in New Smyrna Beach. She says she's originally from Canada. She's not complaining, but look, those are her toes in some little...
Looks cozy.
What is that? What do you think? It look like little animals on her feet? Look
little
cute.
bear slippers,
Yeah,
maybe.
little slippers. Keep your toesies warm if you're up early this morning. Of course, heading out the door in the next few minutes, you'll need a jacket. At least most folks would consider it cold enough for a jacket. If you're a tough guy, maybe not. 42 is the actual temperature in Orlando. It's 36 in Ocala, 37 in Daytona Beach, 59 in Cocoa Beach, but you factor in a bit of a breeze and it does feel colder. It feels more like 37 in Orlando. 31 is the feel-like temperature in Ocala, and it feels like 33 in Daytona Beach. Time for the bus stop, and we will gradually warm today by 4 o'clock with a good bit of sunshine to 64. That is still below the average of 71, and with a bit of a breeze, it'll feel a little cooler for the first half of the day. So jackets in order, but not so much tomorrow. We'll talk about the warm-up for tomorrow and the rest of the weekend minutes. First, though, let's check on the roads and head on over to Amy Biondello in the Napleton Traffic Center. Good morning, Amy. What's up?
Well, Troy, good morning. Good morning to you at home. We've had some really minor accidents this morning, nothing causing any delays. Wanted to start off with our live camera so you can show the overall flow of volume really looking great. This happens to be 408 right by the I-4 interchange, just in top shape this morning. We had one accident over by 434 on I-4, and it's not caused any issues. Both directions still moving along right on time. Rest of your major roadways, including 95, 45, exactly the same. Nice, smooth conditions. Bridget.
Thanks, Amy. It's 6:11, still ahead as students bundle up for one school. One district is making a change at the bus stops. What that could mean for your morning routine just ahead. But first, the first round of the playoffs is over. We have a look back at the action from the wild card coming up. And the Senate Majority Leader opens up about concerns over President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks, why he says Democrats need to grow up. That's up next. You're watching News 6, getting results for Apopka, Altamont Springs, and all of Central Florida on air and on the News 6 app.
Storm Pins is sponsored by Parliament Roofing.